So the session is on humor, and as we know, humor is not just words, right? It's going beyond words. It's not just about telling a joke, but very often it's in who we are, right? And how we are able to lighten up an atmosphere around us. And we've done this to in different contexts in our life as well, right? I mean, even from ancient times, we've seen that leaders have had an element of humor around them, perhaps in the form of gestures or in some other way, celebration, joy. So I'd like to ask you, Dr. Bedi, how have you employed humor in your own life, which dealt with very difficult circumstances, especially in the prisons, and in the sort of work that you took up in terms of the creative reform of prisoners, and in one of India's most difficult places? Dr. Bedi.
Let me take you to my police training days. That was in the year 1972. And that's something which continues to make us laugh even now. Us means we the cops who've now retired by now. It goes back to 1972. We were in Mount Tabu, and we all probationers, young men and women in our mid-20s. I was 22, somebody was 24, another 25. We were all young men and women who joined the Indian Police Service. And it was a tough training. It was very tough training. As he told you, that I was already a national and an Asian tennis champion when I entered the service. The boys did not know as much that I was a champion. So they were waiting to laugh at me when I would fall off the horse. So, do you know what? This is a few days ago, one of my probationer friend, police friend, who met me, who's now a vice chancellor of a university, he met me and we were still laughing at that, and it comes so readily for me. He told me that when horse riding was compulsory in our police training, and you have Vimla Mehra also, who's from the same service, though she came in and joined me many years after. She also did it, I also did it. So the boys thought that the girl will fall when the horse will canter or take us away, because the horses used to take us away, the probationers. They used to run away with us. The horses used to do that. So when he was very scared and he was thinking I would fall. So what happened was, when I got on the horse and a few weeks after got used to the horse, I did not fall. But he was so scared, he said, Kiran, when I saw you not fall, I told myself, if a girl can't fall, how can a boy fall? And he says, I got courage because of you. He told me that, and he had the courage to tell me that I got courage from you because you did not fall. But I'll tell you one more, which is something which comes back and it makes me laugh even from within. I saw one of my probationer friend who was run away with the horse. In our police training, we were about 80 of us. The man was on the horse. We used to all have a solar hat on our heads. One day, we saw a horse running away with the man. When the horse, the topi would do top, 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 and the horse had run away, all we could see was just the cap going up and down, up and down. The horse had run away into the city. We don't even forget now, because the image keeps coming back, pot, 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 because he'd run away. Same thing happened once with another, when you have those hurdles and you have those heights where you have to do the jumps with the horse. Many of us were on this side of the hurdle, and the horse would go the other end. So our police training was harsh, was very harsh. But all these falls, failures, particularly the horse, has to make us laugh. And even now, when we are post-60s, many of us have retired, when we all come back, we come back to our student days. I think those were one of the very many glorious days. To your question on, I have never celebrated as long as I was in the Indian Police Service, till I retired, I don't remember having celebrated my birthday without my team. Sometimes the team was in a prison called 9,700. It was like 9,007, or it was in the police training, it was, let's say, 3,000, or if it was in a police station or in a district, another 2,000. I don't remember having experienced joy without sharing joy. It never was restricted to my own family, of my immediate family, of my daughter, my immediate family, whether it was my husband or it was my parents, or sisters. Yes, but I recall that if by chance it wouldn't happen with them, they would all troop home saying, it's our birthday today. So the birthday became an organizational birthday, a unit birthday. I think I believed in sharing joy, giving joy. This is how it happened. Let me recall to you one more incident of the prison now. When I received the Magsaysay Award on 31st of August 1994 at Philippines in Manila, while I received the award, I received a text message from my colleague in the prison, in the Tihar prison, saying, while you getting the award, the entire prison is celebrating the award, as if they think the award is to them. This is how the spirit of joy was a part of our culture. I thought this is the way it has been. It's never an isolated life. It's been a life of sharing and giving. I think that's been the way I was groomed, and this is now a habit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Bedi, for that heartfelt sharing. I think what really, when you think about it in retrospect, and as you think about the training, you still said that it brings a smile to you, right, when you think about these moments. There's a story that comes to me about Mullah Nasruddin that many of us might have heard, and it's very often they're very humorous stories, and they have some meaning, some message at the end of it. And so Mullah was riding a horse, and it was a very strong and big beast that had just come from a very rural part of Arabia, so it wasn't domesticated. So he said, no, I'm going to climb on it, and he climbed on it, and it threw him off. And the whole town was seeing, and he started laughing loudly, right? And so everybody's like, Mullah, why are you laughing? And he said, before you all start laughing, I wanted to start laughing. And it's a very wise thing, no? I mean, the wise turn humiliation into strength through humor. And so humor can be a big strength to move us through difficult circumstances. So with that, and with the story, I wanted to take it to Dr. D.K. Hari and ask him to share about the stories of the jesters of the days past. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Jai Gurudev. First of all, before I start, I'd like to thank Aditi for the opportunity, because normally I'm sort of thought of as a serious person, and here to put me in a humor session, I think she wanted to bring out the humor in me. Thank you so much. I did not know I had this quality till about 3 days back when I got the letter from IWC that I'm going to speak on humor. The first person to laugh was my wife. She said, "You and humor?" She said, so thank you so much, Didi. One side that I did not know about myself. Let me try to bring it out. Okay. I'd like to say a few slides, show a few slides about how humor has been dealt with in this land of ours, as we have the concept of hasya, which is laughter with a purpose, hasya, and the very word smita smile is much part of it. And if you look at humor, it's actually a serious matter. Most of humor people are actually quite serious in their personal life. So let's see what it is. The very word humor comes from the Latin word, which speaks about bodily fluids. So it's much innate to our body. And the Tamil land from where I come, my mother tongue, we have a word for humor called nagai chuvai. The word nagai means jewelry. Chuvai is taste. Whereas, what is the best taste is humor, not all the jewelry that we wear. The humor that we have is the best jewelry, that ornament that we can bring forth in all our life. That's how the land expresses it. All the jewelry that all the ladies can wear, the best of it is humor indeed. Of course, all jewelry is equally beautiful, but it's even better. Thank you. Thank you. And in this land, all across India, Asia, Africa, everywhere, you got the names like Hasin, Hasmukh, Hasina, and all these lands, all of them are people's names. So humor is not unrelated to the people. It's much related to how we name our children, our youngsters. So humor is part of this harmony between life and humor. And if you look at the jewels that all of you wear, there are 9 different varieties. Where in this land it is called as Navratna. Navaratna means 9 gems. And in life also there are 9 gems. Means the kings that have ruled this land, all of them have had 9 courtiers with them. And one of them is generally a court jester, Vikatakavi. That's been the tradition of the land. Let's look at Akbar of Delhi, where he had Birbal. The famous Akbar-Birbal combination was all about humor, where they could bring out difficult aspects of life, of court, serious matter through humor and exchange views with themselves and with the people. That's what it was. And going on to Vikramaditya, he had Kalidasa, a serious poet, but he brought in a lot of humor in his works, which I'm sure Didi would have gone through as a Sanskrit scholar. There was essentially a Vidushat in every play that he brought out. That concept of humor in drama, in life, in court. See, court is a serious matter. King's court, in that also they could bring out humor so beautifully. And in this part of the land where we are all now, Bangalore was then part of a great king called Krishna Deva Raya, who ruled here, and he had a wonderful jester called Tenali Rama. Let's hear some story about Tenali Rama. He was a young boy. He was sleeping in front of a Kali temple one night, and in his dream, the apparition of Mother Kali came to him. So he woke up, startled. So what did he see when he woke up? He saw Mother Kali with so many faces, so fearful, with so many red tongue and all that. So fearful she was. What would we do when we see Mother Kali like this? So frightful, so fearful. Obviously we'll get fright, isn't it? But what did he do? He started laughing at Kali. A young boy just started laughing, a village boy, unread. Why? She was perplexed. Why is this young boy laughing at me? So she asked him, instead of he asking, she asked him. See how he changed the situation. Why are you laughing at me? That's what she asked him. And do you know what he said? I have a cold and one running nose. I am not able to manage it. And you have so many faces. When you get a cold, how can you manage so many running nose? Look, he lived in the present, the way our Guruji says. He turned the situation around. A young, unread village boy in this part of the land, about 500 years back. And so she was so happy with him. What did she do? She offered him 2 bowls. One with honey and the other with milk. And what did she say? One is for wealth, the other is for wisdom. Choose one of them. And what did this boy say? Let me taste both to see which I would like to take. So he lived, so that's what he did. And that's how he became a Vikata Kavi. So she said, okay, she liked the boy. She said, okay, you will be a Kavi, but a Vikata Kavi. That means you always think like this. That's how she made it of him. So like this, we have had different people who were able to bring bring it about in their times. And dance, we had a wonderful dance program yesterday evening where different facial forms were brought out, which you call as Navarasa. And humor is one of them, Hasya humor is one of them. Among the 9 facial expressions that you bring out, it's an integral art form of this land, of this part of India. And as I said, I'll just take just 2 points here. If you look across the land, it's not only here, all over the world. There are different thinkers who have used humor in life, in spirituality. Just look at some examples. Mark Twain, the famous American, whose quotes are they're so famous, although the first one. He said, humor is mankind's greatest blessing. And his quotes are so famous, Mark Twain's quotes. Some of the maximum number of quotes of the world belong to Mark Twain. He says it's the greatest blessing of humans. And here we go, you have a famous jester by name Willis. What does he say? There is not much of laughter in medicine, but lot of medicine in laughter. So when you say laughter is medicine, yes, that's what it is. And one of the serious writers whom I've read in my school days, Somerset Maugham, I'm sure most of you senior elders would also have gone through his books. What does he say? You are not angry with people if you laugh at them. Humor teaches tolerance. This is what Dr. Bedi also said just now. You're not angry at situations, you're angry with so that's what it brings out. And the same horse incident with Mullah Nasruddin, so I'm not going to repeat the story, so both of you already said it. Let's go to the next one. And let's look at this man, Mahatma Gandhi. All of us think of him as a serious man. But what did he say? If I had no sense of humor, I would long ago have committed suicide. Such a simple, serious man, this is what he felt of humor. And you know one incidence of humor that he did in his life? Once he was gifted a Ford car for his use. Suddenly the Ford car had some mechanical fault and it was under repair. So nobody was there to repair the car. Simple, he tied an ox to the car to take the car around the ashram for him, and he called it Ox Ford. That's what he called it. So here is a man, so we'll bring about humor in whatever he did. And here coming to Bangalore, our ashram, our Guruji. So he is a God who loves fun, a Guru of joy. So humor is all about being in the present, understand the situation. That's why we are able to relate to it. That's when we bring in the sense of harmony. See, here's a Guru who's always joking, who's bringing about the humor in us. So it's across. So humor really lightens the situation. It diffuses stress. It uplifts our hearts and minds. And it's a joyful way to go forward in life. And as I said, humor is indeed a serious matter. Rather, the lack of humor is something we need to take seriously in our lives. Because that's what brings in harmony among all of us. And from the Indian perspective and the world perspective, I think I've been able to bring out some aspects of humor. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Hari, for taking us through the etymology of the word, the word behind smile and laughter, and for showing us that really it's the most precious jewel that we can wear on our face. Yeah? So with that, I'd like to go to Paula and ask you to share about how you found humor helpful in the way you tell stories as a filmmaker and as the way you're able to connect with people as well.
Hello, everyone. First, I want to thank for the invitation. I'm very honored to be in this panel, too. I don't come from such a dramatic background as coming from the jails, but indeed I have a dramatic story to tell also. I brought some images to share with you. No, first it's a PowerPoint. This is a problematic that probably in India you don't have so visually, but for women in the West it can be a very big issue. But now we have to wait a little bit. This is a unique model from Maturia. But unique, only one.
Paula, so why don't you say a little bit, is the video ready to play? Or
Is there?
so if you're going to take a couple of minutes, maybe I can take a couple of responses or thoughts from the audience. Would somebody like to say something about humor and how they found it in their lives? Yes? Yes? Please introduce yourself and share. Can somebody take a mic too?
My name is Amy. I'm American, so I can speak loud.
Thank you, Amy.
I was sitting here thinking.
You can reach a mic to Saurabh.
Maybe you're wondering, and the idea I came up with is this.
Well, actually, it's not an idea. Whoa. It's something I remember reading in a book called The Art of Happiness. And in chapter 6, it's about rule number 6. Okay, so I'm going to share with you rule number 6. And two prime ministers are in a meeting, in a room having a meeting. And they're talking about something very serious, of course. And somebody runs in and Prime Minister, I need to tell you about something. It's very urgent. And the Prime Minister said, Philip, please remember rule number 6. And Philip said, oh, thank you, Prime Minister, thank you very much. And he left the room. The second Prime Minister was a little confused. So, continue their meeting, and then a woman runs in this time, Prime Minister, it's terrible news, I need to tell you something urgently. He says, Annette, please remember rule number 6. And Annette says, oh, of course, Prime Minister, thank you very much. And then, the second Prime Minister was done. So he said, you gotta tell me about rule number 6. What is rule number 6? And he looks at the Prime Minister and he says, don't take yourself so seriously. So that's what I have to remember when I get a little bit tight and look for the humor in it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Paula, remember rule number 6? Are you ready to go?
Thank you. Okay, so this problematic I was telling that we had a lot of women in the West is about being in your 30s and single. So at one point I found out, this mic is working well? Yes? At one point I found out that all my friends from school were getting married, all of them. And this could be quite a dramatic story, so I chose to take it with some humor. And I started to make a film about it. And I went back to each one of my ex-boyfriends to understand what had happened to me. Why did I arrive to this point? I never imagined that this story was going to end in the front cover of the New York Times, that over 2 million people were going to watch it. And it was covered by the most important newspapers of the world, The Guardian, Corriere della Sera, CNN, that today we had one of the speakers here. It was very interesting to hear today's media talk about being your own publisher also, to tell your own story. It was my story that could take it to the world and to take a good message also to all these other women. So I would like now to show you, this video is a 7-minute short film that it was launched in the New York Times, and I just edited, I made an Indian version, so I want to share it with you.
This is me. By now, I should have been at the wedding of my last single friend. But for some reason, I fell asleep. Obviously, there's something I don't want to face. I'm not one of those girls who's always dreaming of white dresses and cute babies. bruto.
But in the last few years, I've seen all my friends get married, one by one.
¿Aceptas tomar como tu legítimo esposo a Hernán Javier Zungi?
Now, I'm the only single one left. In your 20s, you are free to do whatever you want. Have boyfriends, lovers, one-night stands, work, study, just like men. But female freedom has an expiration date. When you turn 30, a conservative curtain falls. At every social gathering, you're confronted with one silent question. After all, I was raised in a traditional way, and I followed the rules to the letter, until the time came to choose a boyfriend. I was looking for an intense, passionate love story, and I found many. Each one of them was the love of my life. I never imagined they would all end up together in a box of tapes.
¿Y vos qué pensás, mami, que va a pasar?
Me imagino que a lo mejor vas a ir madurando y vas a valorar estar en pareja y vas a hacer un esfuerzo, porque hay que hacer un esfuerzo para poder convivir con otra persona. Hay que hacer un gran esfuerzo, no es fácil.
Parte del ser humano es procrear, tener hijos, tratar de armar algo. Después, bueno, sí, creo que dura. Ojalá que dure mucho tiempo. Pero si buscas la perfección, vas a estar jodida, no vas a encontrarla nunca.
I still don't know how to resolve this equation, but at least I learned a few things about myself. I don't want those intense, impossible relationships of my 20s. Nor do I want a perfect husband behind a white picket fence. And I definitely don't plan to spend my life alone. Now I realize that everything I was looking for was much closer than I thought. Whether with someone or alone, in those glimpses, when you love and accept yourself totally, the world around you changes. In the end, happiness is a choice, isn't it? Years of research in this love story, I could understand that it was not a personal story I was telling, but it was a generational issue. It was a change of paradigm, how now it's possible to be in your 30s and to be single in Western countries. After all, I could understand also that what looked for one of the worst scenarios of the world to be the last one of your friends single, it wasn't so bad at all, because I could find my own spiritual path. I found the grace of having a master, and I also have the blessing of having Bano Didi as a personal confidant. And she once told me that I have already planted the seeds, and that now I had to let the tree grow. And she was absolutely right. I had just to have a little patience. And finally, I find love. I'm now in a couple, I'm 36 now, and I'm in a couple with another art of living teacher from Argentina, and we are not very conventional couple because I'm now here making a documentary on Gurdev, so for 2 months we are not together, but I found out that each one of us has its own path. You've seen I come from a traditional family, but I had to find my own way too. Now I'm finishing this documentary that is a feature film that it was already requested by a TV channel in the United States and this other cross-media platform that is to get over your love stories. And also I'm having this beautiful challenge of starting a documentary with Gurdev. Next. Okay, thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Paula, for that. It's very nice that you know what you said was if you're comfortable with yourself, then the whole world then starts getting in harmony with you. So harmony with the rest of the world really begins within yourselves, as we all are experiencing as well, and through the knowledge that is being shared by the other speakers as well. So with that, I want to open it up and see if there are any questions or thoughts from the audience for our panelists, and we can keep it broader in the overall context of harmony and how all these different things that we've been discussing about can be applied to that. Yes, please.
Yeah, my name is Narayani. My question is to Ms. Kiran Bedi. During your time, I mean, this could be answered by the current DG of prisons as well. I just wondered, did you ever come across what they call gallows humor in prison? Like, did you find people on death row or people who had long term in prison, did they have a sense of humor and did they crack jokes?
Prison is a very sad institution because every one of them is deprived of space and their own people. The only way you can keep sanity alive, there wouldn't be jokes. There will be actually cruelty. There wouldn't be jokes. There will be cruelty at each other's cost. I've not seen, there would be fisty fights. I've not seen humor in the prison. The real challenge inside a prison is how to keep sanity alive. And that is the role of prison administrator, is to prevent suicides. So therefore, to prevent suicides, what you do is to ensure full mental occupation of the prisoner all 24/7. Work out the whole day in such a way that he or she is occupied. And if you leave them on their own, then negativity takes over. Humor doesn't. There is nothing to be humorous about, because it's only about grievances. It's grievances against society, family, courts, police, and even the current system. So there is no existing humor. However, to keep sanity alive, I recall some of the few things I did. Once we had a joker in the prison. You know, he was a joker. In his actual life, he used to wear those kind of joker dresses and perform. So the prison nurse told me, ma'am, there's a joker in the prison. So we said, can we get that gesture? You know, the gesture, the joker. So we called him and we used to arrange evening shows for him. So he used to perform and we used to all laugh. So, but everybody's not a joker. So the point is that those people who are on the gallows, you have to actually mount watch on them to see that they don't hang themselves. And also probably give them hope that we will petition for you to see that you can be brought down from gallows to life imprisonment. So the only way to keep sanity alive is to make it full of activities. Keep them occupied from the rising of the sun till sunset when they're supposed to go, and by the time then they're exhausted out and then they go to sleep. So therefore there is basically no humor. There is only way to bring joy and happiness inside institutions which are full of grievances is organize it, have order in it, and have variety of entertainment in it, educational in it, music in it, spirituality in it. So this is education in it, occupation in it. There's nothing called humor. I've never seen prisoners cracking jokes. I haven't. The only way they laughed was, or only when they clapped, when we had some very good visitors from outside who could speak for them, who could sing for them, who could even do some dance performances for them. Then they would be coming out of their grievances or their sadness. So I think this is the way I remember I dealt with it. I do not know how Wimla dealt with it, but each one of us have our own experiences.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bedi. Would you like to say something about that, Dr. Mehra?
Yeah, it's very difficult. The situation inside the prisons is very depressing. People are away from their families, separated, and some of them have a grievance that they have been wrongly put in the jail. So they try to spread despair and frustration around. What we do is, like ma'am has said, we bring in humor from outside. We bring in creativity and people who can influence them, bring some smile on their faces. So we bring it from outside and give them the strength to be sane as long as they are there. So we do help them in living with humor and harmony with themselves.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, as I said in the morning, more than 5,000 people had attended the course, and more than 120 teachers were there. And I think everybody brought in good broad smile on their faces. And the pictures that I had showed in the morning, everybody, you had seen that there is some happiness and some sort of peace on their faces. And you saw many people smiling also. So I think it's possible to bring happiness to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All programs in the prison which are creative, which are spiritual, which are educative, do bring smile on their face. But the fact that they crack jokes, I've never seen them do. Maybe it's because we were probably in a position of authority and they wouldn't do it in our presence. But I haven't seen genuine, pure humor. But yes, it cheers them when you have programs like the art of living, the vocational skills, the yoga therapies, the discourses from outside. They would clap, they would even dance. They would even dance. Sometimes we got some good musicians from outside. That relaxed them, that helped them purge themselves. But there wasn't humor. It was going beyond humor now. They were settling down in their, it was acceptance of a reality which was confronting them. And that prevented us from they going in for suicides.
Thank you very much. It reminds me of something that Sri always says, and he says that the wise use humor to bring wisdom and light in every situation. The intelligent use humor as a shield against humiliation. The cruel use humor as a sword to insult others. And so it's very important for those in the organization, especially in institutions such as the prisons, to be very mindful of coupling the humor with care and compassion as well, so that it is not an affront to a certain section and put somebody else in front. Thank you very much.
If you use humor as another means of relaxation, humor to relax, I think then all this fits in. Why do you do humor? It's to relax yourself, get out of stress, and change a scene. So all that I and Wim love sharing with you, what we did, I did a lot in the policing as well, because even police officers are very stressed. Even in policing, a very large art of living course was brought to them for the first time, where, I forget your name, Tripta Dhawan, my teacher, and she's been my teacher too, Tripta Dhawan. So it relaxed, and it brought so much of cheer in the minds of the policemen. So I think if its humor is looking at another way of relaxation, which is a genuine sense of feelingness, then all these courses do that.
I think maybe the mic can come.
Good afternoon.
One second, we'll just, maybe we'll take her question, yours, when you're able to get to the mic, and then we'll have one last question at that. Yeah, so please.
This is Kalpana from Shishi University. Actually, I wanted to know one thing, madam. Those who are staying in the rural area, particularly the women, how they can enhance their sense of humor. Certain kinds of their sense of humor may be suppressed by certain kinds of external situation. How they can come up with that kinds of sense of humor so that they can be so relaxed. They can combat that stress.
I'll share this out of experience I have working with rural women as a part of my non-profit work. What we do with many women is, A, help them form self-help groups. Once they form self-help groups, then this becomes a part of their growth activity. And music is very vital, where they sing together and then they dance. So when they're just women, they've earned, they've done their accounting, and they're away from their families, they've milked the buffaloes, they've cooked their food for their family, and here they are with us in a group. Oh boy, the amount they enjoy. Because it's so free. They get a sense of freedom. I think humor is also a very positive sense of freedom. So when we create an environment of singing and dancing and relaxing, where they're not concerned whether anybody's watching them, that's the way to do. And rural music, rural folk, rural dance is very, very original. If we as organizers help them and then join them, when we join them, it adds more fun to their lives.
Thank you.
Okay, this is basis my corporate experience, the little that I've had. I've known toughest moments, humor has just helped to juggle out, whether it's been on a domestic level or internationally. It is something which helps you cross all boundaries of age, gender, nationality, religion. It just cuts past all. One. As a second, it's institutions like the Art of Living and the ambassadors under it, which really, help us to get that ability to be able to laugh. And it's so nice to laugh at yourself because everybody enjoys laughing at you. So if we can develop that ability, and we have an ambassador in Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, our Guruji, I've seen him chuckle out of some of the toughest situations by giving an answer which passes a very strong message but has left you laugh for the moment. So on that note, I think we can all just have a good laugh at ourselves right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'll have one last question before we go to the next part of our panel. But yes.
Well, this is a real opportunity for me to use humor because I'm from Argentina, I live in the US, like I said before, and I love saris very much. So today I was wearing this sari for the first time. I was so proud of it. Somebody helped me to wrap it. And then we have pigeon here, right? And one of them just poop on my sari here, as you can see. So I have two choices, or either get mad and angry, or use what my wise friend told me. It means good luck. So I'd rather use that.
Thank you very much. Take one last one, yes.
Yeah, my question is to Paula. So you made this film on yourself. So I want to ask you, when did you first find your situation so funny? I mean, like you said, you're 35 and single, and you find it funny, right?
It's a little bit about her sari story. Like, you can take it as a drama or you can laugh at yourself. So I just chose the second one, you know. But regarding like, it was one particular moment, you know, like for example, Christmas and you are alone. It happened to me that it was the wedding of my last single friend and I fall asleep. And at that moment I said, oh, my subconscious wants to tell me something. And I start doing all this research. And it's funny and it's not funny. That's the thing about humor, no? That sometimes you have something dramatic and you can take it with a laugh. And at the end, like, I could also see that every story has a happy ending. So just need to take a wider perspective, and it was a good story to tell.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I think we'll run out of time. Maybe if it's a very short, yes.
Hi, Paula, if at 35 and single, you look so ravishing, I think you can use another 35 years to be single. And my question is to ma'am here. Ma'am, why there is no humor in our politics? Why are our politicians not humorous? Because Guruji says humor is the most essential ingredient to harmony. And I think we need harmony in our country.
I think the basic ingredient of humor is inner simplicity. When there is so much of inner complexity, how can you have humor? That politicians are one of the most intricate, complex human beings. You never know what they're saying and whether they mean anything of it. Can I just complete my story of the rider? Or if there would be humor, they would even charge for that. Remember?
So, Dr. Bedi, Mrs. Monica Griffin is a European Member of Parliament from Germany as well. So, yeah.
I'm only talking in terms of Indian context. So you're exempted. Remember the story I was telling you about the rider? So all my 1 year on the horse, I didn't have a fall while boys fell. I didn't. Can you believe it? When I fell, it was the last day of my training. Last scene of my training, and my husband came to shoot me at my training, and he had a 8mm outdated camera. You know, those days we had the 8mm with those tapes. So he came all the way to shoot his wife doing the police training. So he came to shoot, and I tried to show off my training, my horse. And I had a wonderful horse. So I was galloping, and I came galloping to him, and he was shooting. It was great that he's shooting me gloriously while shooting. And that's the time I fell. He didn't know what to do with the camera. His camera also dropped. And whenever we see that movie, I'm right hung in the air. That is where the scene has stopped, because the camera stopped there.
On that note, I think it's time for us to all get in the action. So we'll do some laughter yoga, led by none other than our senior teacher, Ms. Kamlesh Barwal. May I request her to come on stage and guide us through that? But before that, I'd like to request our chairperson, Bhanuma, can you please come on stage and have Kiranji release the souvenir for us, please? The souvenir is called the fragrance of service.
The souvenir is called the fragrance of service, and it is a compilation of some of the service stories of the art of living across the world. We have service projects in 154 countries across the world. This is a small glimpse of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I'm on a Twitter, and my Twitter handle is @thekiranbedi. Let's connect on that. Let's connect on that and talk about this conference. And we stay connected. Thanks to Guruji's blessings, we stay connected.
Thank you, Dr. Bedi.
I stayed thinking one moment about your question when I thought it was funny, And throughout all this process of making the film, it was not funny at all. And I had to go very deep into my own story and to understand things that maybe you don't want to see. But at the end, it's good to take it with a laugh and to laugh at yourself and to choose humor and comicity as a way to transmit a message. And I want to thank you very much for the invitation of being here today. It's really a big honor for me.
Thank you. Dr. Hari?
Somebody asked there about, is there any humor in politics? I just thought of, when they asked the question, I just thought of a classic reply that was given in the parliament of this land. It was between Jawaharlal Nehru, the former prime minister, and another very witty parliamentarian. I think his name was Modi at the time. It's not this Modi, Benny Chance, or it is Modi. The big Modi, Pilu Modi. Yeah, Pilu Modi it was. And on the question of Aksai Chin, when Nehru was questioned, he said, not a blade of grass grows there. So Pilu Modi replied, not a blade of grass grows here either, but still I want this. So there was humor. There is humor in politics everywhere.
Those parliamentarians are gone.
They don't make them anymore.
Thank you all very much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please. So we've seen challenging times can make us bitter or better. So our August panelists did share their experience, and perhaps humor is that secret ingredient that makes the difference. Thank you all very much for participating.